Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in this episode, I just kind of want to share very briefly, piggybacking off of the last two episodes in regards to self-awareness. And I know you are, but who am I? I get that confused a little bit because I haven't said that in so long. But one of the things that I've definitely noticed in regards to friendships and, relationships and the struggle, the disconnection between one person and the other is the lack of vulnerability, the lack of transparency. Everything that goes around on social media is so conflicting. And I think that it's something that we often get misconstrued, the simple principles that are put on the memes and things like that, to where we have this content, but we take it completely out of context because we don't have any understanding. And so what I realized with a lot of people is, it's really hard to be in a friendship or to develop a healthy friendship or to create or discover, relationships that are healthy and healing and wholesome when you don't have a level of self-awareness. I know people who go out with people and, they're not really, I don't think it's social anxiety. I think it's just the way of the world. You know what I mean? I think so many people are so disconnected from themselves. And so in turn, we're disconnected from others, right? And so what I've realized with a lot of people is that people get in these spaces where they'll go out, they'll be with their friends, and they're always on their phones, right? They're always on their phones. They're not really talking. They're not really connecting. Or if they're having the conversations, it's typically about superficiality. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that when it comes to life, like I said, you don't necessarily want to find friends over, bond over trauma. But at the same time, it's like, these terms that are just kind of be thrown around, to me, it's slightly ridiculous. I think having an understanding of a person and a person having an understanding of themselves and coming into a space where you share that. And if there happens to be some relatability, you can, of course, build off of that, but you can venture into other areas. But I just think that right now we just live in such a superficial, surface area kind of like society that we don't really know our friends. We don't really know what people are going through. We don't really know, and then there's this thing too where if you are somebody who's self-aware, when you develop self-awareness for yourself, it's kind of the same as self-discovery, and you do become a different person, and you will be a different person. And sometimes when you're hanging around people who have kind of always seen you in the same light, who have always known you to be that, typically these people are family members, they will try to hold you to the person that you once were. And if you are in a space where you don't have a support system and you don't have new friends who are centered around this newfound self-discovery, it will be very hard for you, and you will be very confused and conflicted within yourself, because you're like, I know I'm doing the work, and this person is telling me that I'm this and I'm that, when I know I read this book, and this person haven't read this book, or this person hasn't, put forth the effort in their lives and their journey to really go forward as well. So, you just have to be mindful of who you let hold you accountable, and then we have the flip side of that, right, which is when you come to self-awareness, you do discover a newfound sense of confidence within yourself. And so when you're confident, you have a lot of people who say, oh, this person thinks that this person is all that. And let me tell you what that is. And I hear people say that all the time, like, oh, this person thinks they're better than, or this person thinks they're all that. Now, I do think that there are some people who are just kind of very cocky. And personally, I found that to be with people who are not aware, but they are good looking, or they wear makeup. And don't get me wrong, I wear my makeup. So before y'all try to come for me, hear me clearly. But it kind of becomes this thing to where it's like, these are the type of people who base their self-esteem on the exterior, right? And so it's like, yeah, I think I'm better than because I'm good looking and I've had these opportunities, or, I met this person, or whatever, but deep down inside, they don't really feel that way about themselves. And so that was kind of like a little tangent, but what I found with that is that anytime you hold yourself to a different standard outside of the norm, outside of what the person who's saying that they, who is making the assumption that you think you're better than, or you think you're above them, anytime you hold yourself to a different standard than them, they're going to say that you think you're better than them. You know what I mean? Because what happens is it forces us to look at ourselves. And then, of course, to me, I think that's nothing more than insecurity, right? Because it's okay, this person doesn't want to do that. This person doesn't do what I do, right? So in your mind, you're going to say, oh, this person thinks they're better than me, because it's like, oh, if they don't do this, if they, you know what I mean? I'm going to give an example of smoking cigarettes, and just because it's just I don't really read too much into this example, okay, let's dial it back a little bit. Let's say you like wine, right? You like to have a glass of wine, and this person's like, oh, I don't drink, and then you're the person who has a glass of wine, you're like, oh, this person thinks that they're better than. No, it's just that they don't drink. You know what I mean? But that's going to make you feel uncomfortable if you are insecure about drinking wine. You see what I mean? And so I think that that's also something that is a lack of self-awareness. But yeah, man, overall, you guys, this was a really quick episode. I just wanted to kind of get on here and say that because, like I said, I've been piggybacking off of that. And, sometimes when I get on these podcast episodes, I'm not really like intentionally trying to make it long. Like I said, I'm always big on quality. I'd rather get on here and say what's meaningful versus just kind of like rambling on and on about nothing just to extend the length of a podcast. So, I just want to leave you guys with that as well, piggybacking off of the earlier episode. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll leave you guys with your thoughts.